If you still struggle to get your skin work well done and achieve a creamy finish with no areas creased and with no patchy spots, this video is for you. I'm going to be taking you through the process of achieving a flawless skin during your makeup. So I started by cleansing my model's face, and I went straight into skin prep. For skin prep, I'm using the Embryolisse moisturizer, so I ensure to moisturize her face really well, especially the parts under her eyes. So you moisturize and make sure you're drying while moisturizing. So I ensure that I dry as I moisturize to make sure that her skin absorbs the product really well. And after I'm done moisturizing, I go into primer. For me, it's not really necessary to get primer under the eyes. I feel like sometimes it causes the makeup under the eyes to crease, so I avoid applying primer under the eyes, but I apply primer on the other parts of her face really well. And then I go to sweat control, especially on her T-zone. I make sure that I cover the pores on her T-zone just to ensure that if later on during the day it gets really hot and she gets sweaty, her makeup is still going to hold and intact. So this helps to make sure that your makeup is durable and that you don't have any foundation cracking later on or breaking. It's important to make sure that you control sweat, especially on her T-zone. And always ensure that your prep products are being well absorbed by the client's skin. Then after that, I fix all my prep with the setting spray. I use a fix spray. Now I go into foundation. Here I use a mixture of two Avo Cosmetics foundations and V Beauty to get her exact shade. And then here I'm just applying the foundation on her skin. So you can use a foundation brush directly, but I'm just using this brush, nothing special, just to get the product on her face. And then I go into a beauty blender. You use a moist beauty blender and then you tap the foundation into her skin. You don't have to drag. I always say this: when you drag the foundation on her skin, it's difficult for you to get a good, even, uniform application done. So it's better when you tap the foundation into your client's skin, and you just do that progressively till you're satisfied with the way that the foundation is applied all over her face. And you can always go in and add more product when you feel like it's not enough. So I make sure that I haven't left any part of her face out. I have applied the foundation throughout every part of her face, and always move down to the neck a little, since you cannot always get a match that is 100%. No matter how good your match is, I always say that it's good to move down to her neck. And then when you're approaching her hairline, you reduce the amount of product that you apply. So applying foundation this way gives you an application that is good and really provides a suitable base to start building other things on. So when you get this foundation part wrong, it's really going to show in your skin work at the end. So I usually say that it's important that you take your time while applying the foundation. As you can see, this video, the part of the foundation application isn't sped up because I really wanted you to see how I do my foundation application and appreciate the process, and hopefully learn and also correct the mistakes that you've perhaps been making while applying your own foundation. So I do that and go over her face again and again till I'm satisfied with how the foundation is applied. Everywhere is uniform, it is smooth already. After I'm done with the foundation, sometimes I like to use a fix spray to set this, but I didn't do that here. Now I'm using the Ferrarucci concealer palette to highlight. So I think the video is self-explanatory here. You can see the areas that I highlight under her eye, her chin, a bit of her forehead, and the bridge of her nose. And then I go into a lighter foundation, a concealer shade from Avo Cosmetics, and I highlight the inner part of her eye, the under part of her eye, the inner corners. Yes, I highlight them with a lighter shade of concealer, and then I start blending it. I blend the same way I blended the foundation using the same beauty blender, because I feel like using the same beauty blender just helps the products embrace each other more and help them sit also well on the client's face. So you don't have to go using a different brush, or if you're applying this using a brush, you can use the same brush. Beauty blender, you can use the same beauty blender. As long as it's good quality, it's going to give you results that you will appreciate. So also with highlighting, when you're doing it using a cream concealer, you need to blend it out really well. Make sure that there are no harsh lines. So as you can see, I blend and blend and blend till I get something that I'm satisfied with. Then I go into a bit of blush. I use the Rosy Cheeks palette from Tehila to apply blush, and I'm using an orange and a bit of brown. Blush has a way of adding warmth to a person's face, and that is why I love applying blush. So with blush application, with this particular palette, you can use a brush to apply it, and it's a cream blush. So using a brush usually works with these, or even a beauty blender. I use it, and then I ask my client to smile most of the time so that I know around the high points of her cheek, and then the line, her cheekbone lines. Yes, I apply blush to them. Then I went into a La Vida powder palette, and then I just started setting the parts that I concealed, the parts that I highlighted. As you can see, when I am setting, I go in with little product, and then when I see that a part of the part where I applied the concealer began to crease already, that means it already has some lines breaking. It happens especially under the eyes for lots of people. I go in with my beauty blender and I blend it out well before I apply powder to it, because if I go on applying powder to it, it's going to set like that with those lines on it, and that is not good. So as you can see, I go in time and time again to do the highlighting. I do not use excess product all at once. I go in time and time again to do it. Then I went into the Mirac setting powder in the shade Ginger, just to reinforce the setting. As you notice, I have not yet done contouring, because I usually don't do cream contouring. I do powdered contouring, and I do this because I feel that it's easier and it gives me better results, and it's easier for me to control. So now I go into a powder shade that is 2 times darker than her skin tone, and then I just start contouring the sides of her nose. As you've noticed, I do the contouring. When doing the contouring, I focus really much more on the areas near her tear duct. Yes, because I feel that those areas give you the contouring effect more. So when you focus on those areas, you get the effect more. And then we also contour around her hairline, and you contour below her cheekbones. Then I go in with a powder shade that I bronze. Yes, I bronze before I go in setting all over her face. Yes, you can see me setting all over her face now. But before doing that, I went in, I took a bronzing powder and I bronzed around her cheeks, and especially the parts where I applied blush, before I now went in to set her entire face. That's to make the makeup durable, using a powder shade that is her skin tone. And then now I am baking. As you can see, for the baking, I now go in with excess powder. Here I still used the Mirac baking powder in the shade Ginger. So I now bake, and here I use excess powder. At this point, this excess powder is going to help me catch fallout eyeshadow later. And I love using a beauty sponge to do this. It gives me precision, and it just makes me really accurate. So you see, I set all the parts that I highlighted. So I go on and do that. Other people just set under the eyes, but I love setting all the parts I highlighted. So when I'm done with the eyes and the lip work, and I take out the excess powder, this is what I get. The results are amazing. The results are wonderful. And I think that if you follow this process, you're going to get skin work that is as flawless as mine. Thank you, and don't forget to like and comment.